everyone, and welcome to Into the Fold, a book and lit fest podcast with JL and Lynn and some few special guests. I'm one of your hosts. My name is JL Richardson. I'm founder and executive director of the Festival of Literary Diversity, or FOLD.
And I am Hudson Lynn. I am the program coordinator at the festival. I am your other co-host.
And today we have actually the whole team with us. Spoiler alert for those of you who are listening. I'm so excited to welcome Ardo Omer and Sam Clark back to the podcast.
Hello.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so, here's the thing. This is our sixth and what will perhaps be our final episode. Cue sad music. But we're really excited to wrap up what we've done here with a talk that we all kind of thought was important, which is a conversation about mental health.
Yeah, so it is April right now, and we're mere weeks away from the festival, and we're all working our bums off really hard to get everything ready. And so my question to everyone is, how are you all feeling? I love the expressions of just blank expressions on your faces. It's great. It's great.
So I'll start because people are probably it's hard. Lynn, you probably have it the worst. Let's be real. You take care of all of the authors and all of the high level details that get us to the day. So this time of year is worse for you.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm always, this is a hard time. It can be a good time though, because it's when a few of the checks come in. So the account looks really nice for this month, because the money is there and you haven't had to pay for all the things. So I'm in a better place than I was in February. And I'm in a better place than I'll be next month. But for me, I guess the thing that's hardest about this time of year is just the anticipation and the anxiety around that. That's always been my hardest thing, is I am just such a, I don't know. I've heard this is a product BIPOC women often have this, but I'm a bit of an overachiever / perfectionist / whatever other words you can put in there that just say I'm very particular. And the closer you get, the harder it is to kind of acknowledge you just can't do everything that you want to do.
Is there any particular thing that you are most anxious about?
I'm always most anxious about turnout. Two things. I'm most anxious about turnout, people buying tickets and showing up and feeling the event is enough, both virtually and in person. And then the other thing that I get anxious about is just the smoothness of the event. It's very important to me that, where people go to get food and the timing of events is all very well and carefully thought out. And so those are the things that tend to make me most anxious. Those little, not so little details. Oh no, Sam, what are you thinking?
I will say this is not my most stressful period of time. I will say it's usually when the adult festival wraps up and the kids one gets started in terms of that planning. But I think for me, my anxiety usually, whatever it is, manifests in the lead up to the events, the planning, because my anxiety is, plan for every kind of scenario. But once the actual execution of the festival, we're actually doing the festival events, I feel the most free from my anxiety, because I have no room to think about all the ways it can go bad. Whatever happens, and the only thing I can do is just respond.
Is it the same with kids events?
Same with kids events, yeah. The moment, it's the day of the event, there's nothing, if you truly can't do anything in the moment other than try to solve the problem. And so because of that, I feel freer. I'm okay, cool. What's the solution? Versus months and months of planning and going, I'm stressed because do the authors get their information ahead enough, before enough time before the festival? Have I thought of everything? Did I forget something? It's too much room to think about my anxiety.
Well, there's a really fun thing that, before Sam, I know you're going to share it, but there's something that Ardo and I have been working on this for a long time. And there's a really funny moment every festival where Ardo becomes obsessed with details and I'm meh, and she's in production mode. How many minutes do we need for that announcement? And she's breaking it down second by second, minute by minute, because she's thinking about every detail and she wants to make sure. And I'm at the point where I've thought about it so much that it's in my head and I'm just like, yeah, it'll be fine. And Arnold's like, but no, what am I doing? And that's an example that I've learned is really fascinating because letting Ardo like work through that is helpful to the whole team. It makes like there are some members of the team that are like me at that point that are like, yeah, I got it. We'll go because it's in our heads. And there's others that like want it on a piece of paper that they can check off each item as you go down. And having two people who approach it differently means like we're all covered, Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm like the in between of both of you because my anxiety kind of comes in the winter time where I'm like giving all the sponsors and exhibitors, school boards, all the information that they could possibly need. And then my anxiety comes where it's like, did I get them the right information? Are the sponsor logos in the right places? Are they everywhere they should be? At this point in the program's already printed and it's like kind of too late if there's a mistake in the program for like those to be reverted, right? So like I guess how I've like minimized my anxiety is to like triple check everything and like sending it to you guys to triple check as well and just making sure everything is perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And Sam's got that really important job where if we don't have someone whose job it is to ask that question, it literally will just get like forgotten for like months. We'll be like, have we adjusted the logos on the website? Are the actual sponsors for this year listed or is it last year's? And just having someone that's thinking about that is so helpful. And I know we'll be in meetings and Sam will be like, I know we haven't talked about this. I'm not even sure it's important. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's so important. Thanks for bringing it up. That's the stuff that brings you nightmares, right?
Yeah.
When you don't have a team that's bringing stuff up. Yeah. What about you, Lynn?
I am just afraid that I am forgetting something obvious, like something that I've just taken for granted as like, yes, of course, this is the way things are done. And then we get there and it's like, oh, that's not how things are done. Or like in my mind, I think everybody should know this thing. And I arrive and actually they don't.
Yeah.
And so I'm always just like, did I forget anything? Is there anything that I haven't made clear, that I haven't communicated? Is everybody on board? Is everybody on the same page about what's happening here? Yeah. That's what I'm worried about.
I think it's hard in your role too, because you're taking all the authors, like their entire journey at the festival, 30 authors in your head. And so you're having to carry around not just like what's happening on the day of the festival, but like who's arriving when. What special thing do they need when they get picked up at the airport? And how do they get from the airport to the hotel, to the Rose, to wherever? And so there's like details on top of details. And I think that is always good luck to you on that.
Thank you. And I think the thing is that like we try to communicate with the authors and try to give them all the information.
Yeah.
Whether they read all of the information is something we cannot control.
Yeah.
And that is stressful because it's like I did everything I could and still,
I assume that they've never read it. I'm not saying I assume that because I don't read my own festival packages, but I'm just saying I generally assume I put together information for authors for my own benefit so that I've thought it through and so I can say it's in your package, but I don't assume they've read it.
See, this is a tricky scenario that I'm never sure how to navigate is when I'm like, I don't know if this person knows the thing.
Yeah.
Do I go and be like, hey, did you do this thing? Am I being nitpicky? Am I being aggressive? Or do I just assume like, I'm just going to trust them? Do I trust them or do I not trust them? That's the question.
I think the timing is the key. I think that there are people, authors are special. And I think that if you offer too much information too far away, they're just like, that's not relevant. I don't need it. And I think the comfort level of authors is different. Some authors want to know a month, 2 months in advance what their schedule is and how they're getting around and what hotel they're staying at. And so that's why we get that information together. But I don't freak out about an author knowing things until like 3 days before. Maybe because that's how I operate. And I literally will land in a whole different province and be like, what am I assigned to do today? Who am I interviewing this week? I don't know. And so I think it's just about harassing them at the right time. Because I think if you harass them at the wrong time, they still won't remember when it comes to festival time.
And there's some authors who are like touring, or they have, or there's some festivals that kind of overlap or are happening around the same time. So they're operating on, okay, this is the most this is the next festival that's happening. I can't think about the next two festivals until I'm, out of the woods with this one. Yep. So I think, like getting into the real details of it, you want to do closer to the festival.
Yep.
But I'm like Ardo in the sense that once the festival starts, like there's no time to think. You just do it. Yeah. You just do the thing. And I find actually that attendees tend to be very forgiving. If something isn't working out or there's some hiccup, everyone's like, oh, it's fine. No worries. We'll just hang out and we'll like chat and whatever. So they tend to be very forgiving over these like massive hiccups that we all freak out about.
Also, they don't know that they're hiccups most of the time.
Yeah.
They're just like they'll see an event happen. They're like, great, that was fabulous. And we're just like sweating and crying. And we're like, no, you don't understand. You're supposed to see this and this and this and this. And they don't know the wiser.
Yeah. Well, this is why I have evolved over the years of the festival. Like you've been at what? How many folds? 4? In person? I don't even know. 2.
Yeah, this will be my second.
This will be Sam's second. This will be your first as a staff member. So this is what, 10 for me? I used to freak out about everything. If you came to the festival in the early years, I was happy sometimes, but like very obviously stressed and anxious other times. And I started to realize that people could read this on me. And I started to hide because I think we do a really good job of being prepared as well as we can be. And I know that you all do a really good job. I know our volunteers, and I'm going to shout out Tony and the team of volunteers that are involved, do a phenomenal job. But I am an anxious ball of stress. And I started to realize that my anxiety was affecting other people. It was affecting Tony. And I don't even know if she would say that, but I could tell she was nervous to like upset me or like disappoint me. And it was never like, that wasn't where I was coming from with my anxiety. My anxiety was just, I often feel sad that we do so much work and sometimes there's not like a good audience, a good number of people. And I get really disappointed and I get really like down on myself. Sometimes I'll get like embarrassed that because I feel like people feel sorry for me. They'll say things like, oh, I just wish there was more people because it was so great. And that just makes me feel kind of crappy. Mm-hmm. And so I realized like I'm the person where if I don't say anything, like subtitles are coming out of my face. So I had to like hide. I had to actually like trust that y'all would have it, like the team would have it, whether it was you guys or volunteers, and to just be away. Because I wasn't actually upset with the team. I wasn't actually truly disappointed with the event. I was just sort of disappointed with my own expectations for things. And I didn't want to take away from things or people. So it's really interesting when the fold comes around because you actually won't see me as often as you may have seen me in previous years because I'm just like trying to cope with my own emotions, which are all over the place. Some of them are super happy. Some of them I'm like, wow, that was amazing. But there's been a few incidences, which we could talk about if we want to, where I have actually like not been well in the middle of the event. And I try and hide that from people, not because I don't want people to know, because I've told you guys, I'll tell the entire podcast world. But I don't want people in the moment. I don't want it to take away from the moment.
Yeah. So how do you, sometimes you hide. That's like a coping strategy, right?
Is this effective, doctors? I don't know.
That's okay. Sometimes we just need to get through the day. And if that's what you need to do, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Are there any other strategies or things that you guys do to try to stop yourself from freaking out?
I think the joy of working at the festival is that there's always an event happening in person. That like if you're feeling too anxious, you could actually just go into the event and just indulge yourself in the conversation. And then for me, I actually feel much better because I'm like, oh, these authors are here. These people are here to listen to what the authors have to say, hear their panel conversations. And I feel more inspired after the fact and more relief too. Like regardless of if there's 5 people in the audience, like I still got to hear a really cool conversation.
There usually is more than 5 people.
There's more than 5. There's more than 5. But like, like it's just still really nice to just to see it all come together after all this hard work that we put together. So,
yeah, I think that's well said, because for me, as an anxious person, especially leading up to the festival, for kids at the very least, you put so much work in the programming of it. It gets to the point where it's not that I like it less. It gets to the point where I just lose I lose what made me want to create this thing. And you're like, oh, I don't know if people are going to like it. I don't know if the educators are going to enjoy it. I don't know if students are going to enjoy it. And so when the actual festival happens and you see the events, you're like, wow, this is better than I thought. Oh, wow, so many people attended. Or you have so many kids asking really interesting questions. It's like validating the work that you do, and it's like, and then you have a Doria experience, you forget all of that, and you go through it again. But it's like the festival validates the work you put into it, because it becomes a theory and into practice, which is very helpful. That, and also making sure, especially the months ahead of the festival, being strict with my time. Like, I have the tendency to want to work more hours, work on weekends. And I'm like, don't worry, you're going to do that 4 weeks before the festival anyways. But until it gets to that point, your weekend's your weekend. End at 5, clock out. There's always going to be the next day. And managing that, because it will get busier and when you can't avoid that anymore. So it's like protecting those things.
That's a really good example. I think one of the things, just to build on that, that's been important to me is similar but slightly different, actually, is first of all, setting definitive vacation times. I think it's very difficult to take vacation with the cycle that we live in. There are busy times and there are not as busy times, but still busy times. And if you are only looking a few weeks ahead, you will find that you can never easily take a vacation. But what's worked for me is, even when I don't know where I'm going or what I'm going to do, I set a week that's like, I am going on vacation. And I may fly somewhere, I may drive somewhere, I may just stay in my house. But that week, if I build all my planning knowing that week I'm away, it's way easier to be away at that time and to just be truly off a FOLD stuff, because I've built the whole framework of the pre-festival season around that week of being away. If I just hope that I can take my kids' March break off, but I don't actually, when we plan the dates for registration opening, author reveals, all these things, you start to see when it's going to be really busy. And if you go on vacation at that time, that often doesn't feel super great. So it's about oh, that's going to be a really busy time. What if I go away the week before that? So doing that has been really helpful. I'm also really big on flexible hours. We all work from home. And one of the benefits of that is you can actually put in more time, I think, than you do when you work in person. And really, it's about managing, like Ardo said, not overworking, but also using flex the way you wish. So sometimes I find it easier, if Eden's done school at 3 or 3:30, I find it easier to finish my workday 3:30, 4:30, and then work an hour on the weekend when I can just answer a bunch of emails and nobody's going to respond to them. I've figured out what kind of work-life balance looks like Monday through Friday, with weekends as flex time. And I'm just really comfortable doing it. I don't feel any guilt wrapping up early on a particular day. I know I'm going to overwork another day, One of the things we do too as a team is, reading time is actual work time. So if you're having a rough day or the day is just a lot, I know there's a lot of guilt that people feel. So I'm like, grab a book. As long as you have a book in your hand, if you finish early, you can feel like I'm still doing my job, But really don't overdo it. There's no benefit to overdoing your work hours. Yeah. When you hire good people, I just don't think you have to worry about that.
I think that's the trap I fall into a lot, because I'm thinking, oh, I can just, after the festival, then I'll have all the time in the world. No. I'll just take a break then.
You will not.
And not realizing I won't make it to the festival if I don't take breaks now.
I told Lynn, which I want to say this on the podcast because, hopefully by the time everybody's hearing this has actually happened. But you got to set aside your vacation time. You got to pick it, take it, claim it, and use it.
Yeah.
However you want to use it. Doesn't matter, but really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So That's a lot of doom and gloom.
Well, I'm gonna share 2 stories.
Okay, go.
2 stories. I also want to hear Sam's because I know you had a bit of a moment. Maybe you won't share it. I'm not gonna force you to share.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm not even gonna force you to share. I'm just gonna share 2 moments where I had a bit of a breakdown.
Sure.
Yeah. And then, if anybody else wants to join the confessional, y'all can. Okay. So the first time I had a breakdown doing this festival work was at FOLD Kids Book Fest. It was before any of you were here, including Ardo. It was our very first FOLD Kids Book Fest. We very not wise way, we said at the end of FOLD 2019 that we would be holding our first FOLD Kids Book Fest in 6 months. Worst idea. Never do that. It was me and Amanda. We don't have a background in Kid Lit. Like, we were just winging it. And we got to the day, everything was supposed to happen at City Hall, and just like attendance was really bad. Like, there was nobody really in the audience. It was one of those places where there's not a lot of passing traffic. So people just have to know and come out for it. And for the first few events that happened, it was like not a lot of people. Like Eden, some of his friends, like my nephews, like any child that I knew, sitting in the crowd. And I started to feel like super sick and anxious about like what this would all mean and whether sponsors would be like, this is a waste, whatever. And so I left City Hall and I went for a walk in Gage Park, which is a little park next to the municipal building. And I just sat there for like 45 minutes, just like beautiful fall day, just like enjoyed the sights, prayed a little bit, and then went back in, and we had an animal show at the end of the day. That was like the wrap-up event. And by the time the animal show came around, it was like full, like the crowd. And it was great. And it turned out okay. But like, that feeling has been something that comes to me often. I've learned to like avoid the time between when guests can come and the start time of the event, because seeing how slow people come in, like that's when I start to panic. I start to think like, do we have somebody by the parking garage? Do we have somebody at the doors directing people? Like, is there traffic? Are people lost? Like, I start panicking and asking people to do random stuff that's not actually helpful. So that was the first time I recognized like what was happening. And then the second time was at FOLD with the Great Reception. And I had like poorly planned the timing of the readings, and everything was going super long. And we had like a very specific booking window, and we were going to go over the booking window, and it was going to cost us money. And the event was just going so long. It was so like, it felt like minutes were hours. And I was upstairs. I couldn't watch the event. I couldn't watch a single person read because I just kept thinking, read faster. Oh my gosh, read faster. And I was upstairs, like in the volunteer area, like physically unwell. And our PR person, Katie, was like, can I do anything to help? And I'm like, no, this is just, it is what it is. I got to suffer this. And she's like, if it makes you feel any better, like nobody notices. Everybody's having a great time. And it was true. It was true. Everything was fine. Most people, like Ardo said before, didn't know. But behind the scene, it was like mass chaos in terms of getting off stage, getting the band out of the facility, getting everybody out of the building. Like, it had gone on like 45 minutes longer than it was supposed to. Worst feeling. And it's one of those, you can't fix it. You just got to like ride it out. So those were moments where I was like, this work is going to kill me. Like, I don't know.
Any more horror stories?
I don't even know what you're referring to. And I don't mind talking about it because if you refresh my memory.
You had also had a breakdown at some point, and I was like, if I cannot be the only person having a breakdown, that would be really great. But apparently I'm the only one. So
maybe I like blocked it out of my memory. I
thought it was last year when you were preparing, like a week before the festival or 2 weeks.
I think there was a few mishaps in regards to like the bookmarks where we like just, the story was I ordered bookmarks for the festival, and we give bookmarks to like the libraries and just other like outreach events. And then for the festival, I couldn't find them. Like thousands of bookmarks just gone. And I don't know if I like gave too many to the library or gave too many for free at one place. Then we had to do a rush order of bookmarks like the day before or something, the festival. And so that's another anxiety, I guess, is just like, do we have enough stuff to like give away for free, right? Like you kind of underestimate the amount of things you need to give away for free. So I think that was kind of crazy, but I think it's good as I live so close to downtown Brampton and I can pick up any of the print products really good, and we have a good relationship with the printing place. Shout out to Print 3.
Yeah,
They're
Print
good.
3. Woo woo.
They're good. But
Also
yeah, that's
been with us since day
probably
one.
maybe one of the few stories.
Yes. Sam's been great. I think it's when you're an executive director. So I never thought I would run a business. I never thought I would have I thought I might be a manager of staff, but I never thought I would run a business in which the staff were my responsibility. And I think one of the things that's been hard is, Sam's not the only one, but there's been other staff who the job gets stressful at times. And I feel personally responsible for people's levels of stress.
Mhm.
I should be creating an environment in which that's not likely to happen. And that's why I do a lot of conversations about when you take vacation and, if you finish what you're supposed to do earlier in the day, taking the afternoon off. If you're if you have a migraine or you're just overwhelmed by personal stuff and you need to take the afternoon off, just take the afternoon off. It's not you don't even have to make up those hours. That's not the kind of place I want to be in. So I've just been trying to build that kind of culture and experience so that we're not in the place where we get to these moments and feel like the sky is falling because we can't find 4,000 bookmarks. They probably got given to people, which means marketing is doing its work, So, yeah, I think that's been something that I've tried to create. And that's why I feel so terrible when anyone's not okay. 'Cause, sorry.
But also, that's not entirely on you, right? Because
Yeah.
you can't read people's minds. You don't know what's going on inside
Mhm.
or stuff that they might have in other
Mhm.
parts of their life,
Yeah.
what's going on there. So I think it is I think we all appreciate the environment that you create, but it is also on us to speak up if we need something,
Yeah.
if we need
Mhm.
time or
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah.
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 It's so true because I feel like in my past roles, it's never been this open and dynamic where I can just ask, oh, hey, I'm not feeling great. Can I take the afternoon off to do X, right? And Jill, you've created that environment for us to feel comfortable and asking that. It's not just a boss employee relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all friends.
Yeah.
We're all together in this, right? So
It's an interesting one that I will say about sick days is one that I just want to asterisk because I think when you work from home, it's actually difficult to create some of these boundaries about sick days and
Yeah.
taking time off. And one of the things, I can't remember who it was. Somebody had a headache.
I think it was me.
It
It was me.
And she was like, I think I have a headache. I think I'm okay. And I was like, no, 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 no. If you have a headache, that's an automatic back off. Do whatever you need to do to feel like you've sent the email you need to send, but don't push through a headache. There's no reason to do that. And I think it's when you say I'm sick or I'm going to take a sick day, you are more likely to actually take that sick day and use it effectively than when you're just oh, I'm not really feeling well, And so I think it's a really big thing, especially when we work from home, we can't see each other. You could take a sick day and not nobody would really know if you don't have a meeting. I think it's we've been trying to encourage folks, put it in the chat, just say I'm not feeling well. Even if you're feeling guilty about it, when you say I'm not feeling well, everybody responds with take the afternoon off. I got this. We'll take that. You really have to name it and put it out there so that you actually turn off your computer and lie down and rest, because otherwise you'll just fumble through the day, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's less productive work.
Less
as
productive
well.
work.
Yeah.
But it just feels crappy when you feel like you have to work through a sickness or an illness or a headache. Headaches are the ones where you feel bad because maybe they come every month. Maybe they're not, and it's you feel bad, but it is what it is. And honestly, I would rather take a day in the middle of the week off to take a break from a headache and pick up on a Saturday if I have to, than to just plow through it. And I would want that for all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question I had next is there anything you guys are all looking forward to?
Oh.
To try to end on a happy note.
Looking forward to I guess some of the events. Fun fact, I don't attend most of the in-person events. I'm usually in the foyer. I'm not hiding like jail. You can find me. I'm very easy to find. But I think when you're, trying to get the event started, you realize how exhausting it is.
Yeah.
So I'll sometimes just sit out in the lobby and talk to our merchandise people, catch up with the bookseller, or just sit very quietly on my own and then, check, oh, it should be almost done, that kind of thing. But there are certain events that I'm like, I want to go and sit down and watch and not have to think about once I'm in this room. I mean, I'm still checking my phone once in a while to see if there's like emergencies, but otherwise it's like really nice to sit in the dark with other people and watch a conversation unfold. And the thing about festivals is you don't need to read the book to enjoy an event. In fact, sometimes the event, or most of the time, the event is what sells you on a book. And so there was a year in which I ended up buying, I think it was Omar Moalem's book, Praying to the West. After hearing him on a panel, I went, that's nonfiction. I rarely read nonfiction. I'm like, I'm going to buy this book and read it. And it ended up being one of my favorite reads of the year. Yeah.
Thing I'm most looking forward to. I think because it's the 10th, I'm really excited to like create like a festive party environment. I'm like just excited for that vibe. I'm picturing like, well, I know we're gonna have like balloons and tens everywhere. I'm just excited to see that culmination of a decade come together. I'm really looking forward to that like party vibes like the whole week. I'm always looking forward to the Great Reception. I get to host it and I get to like listen to all the events. And I think the reason I'm like Ardo, I can barely sit in events during the festival. It's just, again, not good vibes. I'm not good energy. I am like, why is there a water bottle on the floor? It's going to be in all the pictures. Like, I am just not listening to what we should be listening to. And I am overwhelmed by some ridiculous detail. And if I don't watch, I don't know. And it's fine, So for everyone's enjoyment, I watch very few events. But that event I have to host. So I get to like be in it. I get to rehearse with the authors. I get to do the hosting part of it. And because I'm in it and moving the whole time, and we've got the timing down now, it's actually kind of good energy, good vibes. And so I do enjoy that experience, and it tends to be like one of our biggest events. So people have a lot of fun at it, and yeah.
I think I'm just looking forward to it happening because this is my first one. And so I think like in my mind, I picture it happening a certain way, which may or may not actually come true. Who knows? But just to like be there and be like, wow, like we put in all this work and now this is happening. And like authors that we invited that were always just like a name in an email, they're here in person and they're doing the thing that we told them to do. And all these like readers are here and they're sitting and they're enjoying it. And so I'm just excited to see it all pan out.
Do you think that you'll watch events? Like, will you?
No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Nope. I'm one of those like wait in the lobby or somewhere else and like talking to like vendors or other behind the scenes people and just being like, yeah,
what
completely
happens. And will you like virtual events? Same thing. Like, do you prefer to watch them? Virtual events I can watch. If I'm not producing them, I can watch those. But
I don't think I will.
Yeah.
I don't think I will.
Yeah.
Well, I might take that back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I will. I think I will be like in our group chat being like, what's happening? Is something going wrong? Is something going wrong? But yeah.
I will say virtual events are really fun to watch and then be on the app where you can get in the chat. I find that to be like the most fun way. So I'll have like on my computer or my iPad the actual event, but I'm mostly just chatting with the people who are also watching the event, being like, ooh, did you get the name of that book? Or that was so funny. Or like, that's my favorite way to enjoy virtual events.
Okay. Well, I'll give that a try.
Hot tip.
Got it.
Yeah, so I have a few things that I'm looking forward to. I would say like everything you guys said, like the events, the 10th anniversary, but also like the specialty events. I really love the high tea. I loved like paint and poetry night. And so like when it comes to those things, I also I'm looking forward to seeing people that I've like emailed many times and actually never met them in person or met them once or twice, and seeing all the volunteers come together as well. Because as you mentioned, Joe, us working from home, we don't really get to engage with people that we communicate with all the time, right? And just seeing everyone in one space having a good time is just a joy, really.
Okay, so that's a really good point because the tickets are on sale right now. And specialty tickets typically like sell out, but they sell out like people buy like right away. And then there's like a trickle that happens later. Let me tell you, paint and poetry night
So good.
The High Tea and Eat the Books, which is a new event. Look it up. Should have said I'm excited about that one because I'm very excited about that
I'm
one.
super
excited about Eat the Books.
Anything with food.
Anything with food and Eat the Books.
There.
Like if it works out, it just might be a thing every year. But let's just put one thing together. Those 3 have very limited seating and will sell out. Like I'm fairly confident. The High Tea has sold out every year with like weeks to go. So if you're listening to this and these sound like things you want to do, yeah, you'd want to get those tickets right away.
Yep, jump on it.
Yeah. The rest of the tickets, passes, etc. I mean, I want you to buy the tickets early so I don't go into panic attack, but we have enough space to probably accommodate you, and especially the events that take place in the rows. So it's a good thing you mentioned that because people should get on it.
If you've missed any of the previous Into the Fold episodes, you can find them on our podcast feed on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or our YouTube channel. Make sure you go back and listen to those. They are amazing. And if you like to support the work of the Fold, you can leave a review or a rating on any of the podcast players that you might be using, and tell all of your friends about us, and also donate to the Fold at thefoldcanada.org/donate.
So that's it for Into the Fold. We are on the final stretch, the home stretch for our 10th anniversary. We are hoping to deliver what you will find to be a phenomenal festival, whether it's virtual or in person. Just a reminder, we offer a multimodal festival that will run from April 27th to May 4th. You can join the festival anywhere in the world for our virtual events, April 27th to 30th, and you can take part in our in-person events in Brampton from May 1st to the 4th. You can also watch all those events back, well, most of them from in person, on demand as part of our virtual offering and virtual platform as well. Tickets and passes are on sale right now. Visit thefoldcanada.org to grab yours before they sell out.